The stars above Beijing shimmered like scattered diamonds against black velvet, peaceful and serene. Dr. Elena Chen knew better. Through the Quantum Observatory's advanced sensors, she watched the approaching darkness, a fleet of warships that thought themselves invisible to Earth's primitive technology. Confirmation on the Kethera signatures, Dr. Lieutenant Sarah Wong reported, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. 17 capital ships, exactly as the Deep Space Array detected. Elena allowed herself a small smile. The Kethera Empire, with their crystalline technology and supposed superiority, had no idea they were walking into humanity's carefully laid trap. For 50 years, Earth had maintained the illusion of being a relatively underdeveloped civilization, all while preparing for this very moment. Status of Project Nightfall? Elena asked, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. All systems green. Sarah responded. The quantum mesh is fully operational. Every satellite is ready for transformation. Ground installations are powered and waiting. The massive underground facility, buried 3 kilometers beneath the Tianshan Mountains, hummed with controlled energy. Similar bases across the planet stood ready, their existence unknown to all, but a select few. Humanity had learned long ago from intercepted communications that they weren't alone in the universe. Instead of panicking, they had prepared. Message from General Harrison, Dr. Sarah announced. The Security Council has given unanimous authorization. We are go for Operation Awakening. Elena took a deep breath, remembering the day 30 years ago, when a young graduate student had discovered the first Kethera probe at the edge of the solar system. That discovery had changed everything, uniting humanity in secret preparation for this moment. Signal the Lazarus Array, Elena commanded. Let's show our visitors why you should never judge a species by its apparent technological level. Across Earth's orbit, thousands of seemingly primitive satellites began to change. Quantum metamaterials shifted and transformed, revealing weapon systems that would have seemed like magic to the public below. Deep beneath every major city, ancient bunkers thought to be Cold War relics powered up advanced shield generators. The Kethera fleet dropped out of FTL, drive near Mars orbit, their massive ships gleaming with an otherworldly iridescence. Their commander, High Admiral Zixtal, observed the blue planet ahead with all 4 of his eyes, mandibles clicking in anticipated victory. Primitive defenses detected, his sensor officer reported. Basic kinetic weapons, early-stage particle accelerators, and primitive nuclear devices. No quantum shielding, no gravitic weapons. They are exactly as our scouts reported. Send the standard ultimatum, Zixtal ordered. Give them 1 planetary rotation to surrender, as protocol demands. The message was transmitted, and Elena watched it scroll across her screens. The usual demands: immediate surrender, integration into the Kethera Empire, preservation of basic human rights under their benevolent rule. She had read similar ultimatums sent to other worlds in the stolen data cache. Shall I prepare our response, Doctor? Sarah asked, her finger hovering over the communications panel. Elena shook her head. Not yet. Let them think we're scrambling in panic for exactly 17 minutes. That's how long it took the last world they conquered to respond. She turned to face the assembled command staff. In the meantime, bring all Quantum Forge facilities to full power. Wake up the Sentinel eyes. And most importantly, activate the Lazarus Protocol. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in the Mariana Trench, kilometers of machinery began to move. Similar installations under the Atlantic, Indian, and Arctic Oceans hummed to life. Humanity's real fleet, hidden from prying eyes, prepared for war. Message from Moscow Command. Sarah reported. The Archangel grid is online. Beijing, London, and Washington confirm the same. The planetary shield can be activated on your command. Elena watched the countdown timer. 3 minutes until their scheduled response. The Kethera ships held position, their crews likely feeling smug about the fear they assumed they were generating. Signal from the Lunar Defense Base, another operator called out. The gravity lance is primed and targeted. 2 minutes. All Sentinel eyes report ready. The quantum battlefield network is active. 1 minute. Elena straightened her uniform, a gesture of habit rather than necessity. Open a channel to the Cathera flagship. Let's show them humanity's response to threats. The communication screen flickered to life, revealing High Admiral Zixel's crystalline form. Before he could speak, Elena cut in. This is Dr. Elena Chen of the Earth Defense Initiative. We've received your ultimatum, and we have a response. She paused, allowing a small smile. Look up. Across Earth's orbit, thousands of satellites simultaneously shed their disguise. The quantum mesh activated, revealing a weapons grid that made the Cathera's technology look primitive in comparison. From the oceans, humanity's true fleet began to rise. You should have scanned deeper, Elena said to the visibly shocked alien commander. Welcome to Earth, Admiral. I suggest you consider your next move very carefully. The trap was sprung. Now the real battle would begin. The Cathera fleet's formation scattered like startled birds as the first quantum lance struck their lead destroyer. High Admiral Zixel's crystalline features contorted in what passed for shock among his species as damage reports flooded his command center. Impossible, he hissed, multiple eyes scanning the tactical displays. Their technology level was confirmed. Multiple surveys showed. Second wave detected. His sensor officer screamed. Energy signatures unlike anything in our database. From Earth's oceans rose humanity's true fleet. Massive warships, their hulls gleaming with dark metal that seemed to drink in light itself, emerged from their underwater hangars. These weren't the primitive rockets and chemical engines the Cathera had observed. These were vessels built with technology that humanity had quietly perfected over decades. At Orbital Command Station Hyperion, hidden in plain sight as a telecommunications satellite, Commander David Santos watched the unfolding battle with grim satisfaction. The neural interface connecting him to the station's AI thrummed with data. Atlas, give me fleet-wide status, he commanded. The AI's response manifested directly in his mind. All vessels reporting optimal performance, Commander. The Cathera shields are failing against our phase-shifted weapons. Their tactical doctrine shows no adaptation to our capabilities. Santos nodded, feeling the combined consciousness of thousands of mirror-linked crew members through the quantum battlefield network. This was humanity's true advantage, not just advanced technology, but the seamless integration of human intuition with artificial intelligence. Launch the Valkyries, he ordered. Across the Earth, hidden hangar doors opened. Squadrons of aerospace fighters emerged, their pilots neural-linked to both their crafts and the battlefield AI network. Unlike the rigid hierarchical command structure of the Cathera, Earth's forces operated as a single fluid organism. Captain Maya Patil felt her consciousness expand as she led Valkyrie Squadron into the battle. Her fighter responded to her thoughts faster than physical controls ever could, the neural interface translating intention into action at the speed of thought. Valkyrie lead to all units, she transmitted through the quantum network. Show them what humans can do when we stop playing nice. Her squadron accelerated, pulling maneuvers that would have killed unaugmented pilots. The Cathera fighters, despite their advanced technology, moved like clumsy beetles in comparison. Maya's consciousness merged with her fighter's eye, creating a hybrid intelligence that could process combat data at superhuman speeds. Back on the Cathera flagship, High Admiral Zixtal watched in horror as his fleet's formation crumbled. How? He demanded. Their ships are moving in ways that defy physics. Multiple anomalies detected, his science officer reported, mandibles clicking in agitation. Their vessels appear to be generating localized space-time distortions, and their pilots, their neural patterns are synchronized somehow. In the Tiantian facility, Elena Chen monitored the battle through her own neural interface. Status of Project Ascendant, she asked. Sarah Wong's response came instantly through the quantum network. The AI integration is holding stable. All neural-linked personnel are performing beyond projected parameters. The Cathera have no defense against our hybrid warfare tactics. Elena allowed herself a moment of pride. While the aliens had focused on physical technology, humanity had pursued a different path. The seamless merger of human consciousness with artificial intelligence. Each Earth vessel was crewed not by individuals, but by a collective consciousness that could react and adapt at digital speeds while maintaining human creativity and intuition. They're attempting to regroup, Atlas reported through the neural net. Standard Cathera doctrine suggests they'll try to establish a defensive perimeter around their flagship. Not today. Elena thought spoke through the network. Commander Santos, deploy the gravity wells. Captain Patel, prepare your squadrons for attack pattern Omega. Let's show them why humanity doesn't bow to threats. The space around the Cathera fleet began to twist as dozens of gravity generators activated simultaneously. Their rigid formation, designed for traditional space combat, proved useless against weapons that bent reality itself. All units, Santos broadcasted through the neural network. His consciousness merged with Atlas and thousands of crew members. Execute Operation Thunderstrike. Show these aliens why you never underestimate human ingenuity. The battle erupted into a new phase of chaos as Earth's forces demonstrated the full extent of their capabilities. This wasn't just a fight between different technologies. It was a clash between fundamentally different approaches to warfare. The Cathera's rigid, hierarchical structure faced off against humanity's hybrid consciousness, and they were learning a harsh lesson about the price of underestimating Earth. As Maya's squadron dove through another impossible maneuver, she felt the collective satisfaction of thousands of linked minds. The Cathera had expected to find primitives. Instead, they'd awakened a giant that had been quietly preparing for this moment for half a century. The real question now wasn't whether Earth would win this battle, it was what humanity would do next. In the debris field that was once the Cathera's front line, High Admiral Zixtal watched his empire's military doctrine crumble. 3 of his capital ships lay dead in space, their crystalline hulls shattered by weapons that shouldn't exist. The humans weren't just fighting back, they were winning. Status of the quantum beacon, he demanded, his crystalline form vibrating with barely controlled rage. Operational, Admiral. His communications officer responded. But the humans are somehow blocking the signal. We cannot call for reinforcements. In Earth's L2 Lagrange point, hidden behind a quantum stealth field, the true heart of humanity's defense network pulsed with activity. The massive station, designated Olympus, housed the most advanced AI core ever created by human hands. Colonel Maria Vasquez, her neural implants synchronizing with the station's systems, monitored the quantum jamming grid. All frequencies locked down, she reported through the neural net. They won't be calling home for help. Good. Elena Chen's thoughts echoed through the quantum network. Begin Phase 3. Show them our real fleet. From behind Mars' orbit, hidden by advanced stealth technology, humanity's main battle group emerged. These weren't the defensive vessels that had surprised the Cathera earlier. These were ships built for offensive operations, incorporating technologies that humanity had reverse-engineered and improved upon over decades. Commander Santos, his consciousness still merged with Atlas and the battlefield network, felt the shift in the combat space. All vessels, Combat Formation Delta. Prepare to execute Operation Hyperion. Maya Patel and her Valkyrie squadron regrouped, their neural-linked fighters moving with impossible precision. Through the shared consciousness of the battlefield network, she felt the excitement of thousands of minds working in perfect harmony. Look at them scramble, she thought to her squadron. They never imagined we could fight like this. The Cathera fleet attempted to reorganize, their ships forming into traditional defensive patterns. But against an enemy that could think and react at AI speeds while maintaining human creativity, their textbook maneuvers were worse than useless. Target their command and control nodes, Elena broadcast through the network. Their hierarchical structure is their weakness. Cut off the head, and the body will fall. Humanity's offensive fleet split into 3 battle groups, executing maneuvers that made mockery of conventional space combat tactics. Quantum-shifted weapons fire crossed space in impossible patterns, bypassing Cathera shields as if they didn't exist. In his flagship's command center, Zixtal faced a terrible realization. "They've been watching us," he transmitted to his remaining ships. "Everything we know about warfare, they've prepared for. Every tactic, every strategy." Multiple new contacts, his sensor officer interrupted. "They're launching something from the lunar surface." The dark side of the moon had hidden humanity's greatest weapon, the Prometheus Array. Massive cannons, powered by dark matter reactors, emerged from hidden bunkers. Their target was not the Cathera fleet, but rather the space around it. "Fire," Alina commanded. Reality itself seemed to tear as the Prometheus Array activated. The space around the Cathera fleet twisted, warped, and finally shattered, creating artificial gravity wells that their ship's engines couldn't overcome. "Now, Commander Santos," Alina broadcast, "show them why humanity hasn't had a major war in 50 years. Show them what we've been preparing for instead." The human fleet moved as one organism, coordinated by AI, but driven by human intuition. Quantum torpedoes, guided by hybrid intelligence, struck with perfect precision. Gravity lances tore through crystalline hulls. Neural-linked fighters executed maneuvers that made their pilots' ancestors' dogfights look like children's games. "Admiral," Zixtal's second-in-command spoke, his crystalline form clouded with fear. "We must retreat. These humans, they're not what our intelligence suggested. They're not primitive. They're monsters," Zixtal finished, watching another of his ships disappear in a quantum firestorm. "They hid their true nature from us. All this time, while we watched them launch chemical rockets and primitive satellites." Through the quantum battlefield network, Alina felt the combined satisfaction of thousands of linked minds. The trap had worked perfectly. The Cathera had come expecting to find an easy conquest. Instead, they'd found a civilization that had spent half a century preparing for this exact moment. "Your move, Admiral," she transmitted to the Cathera flagship. "But choose carefully. You've seen only a fraction of what we can do. Care to find out what other surprises we've been keeping?" The battle paused, hanging in the balance between victory and annihilation. Humanity had revealed its true face, not as primitives to be conquered, but as warriors who had turned their greatest weakness into their ultimate strength. The question now was whether the Cathera would learn from their mistake, or if they needed another lesson in human ingenuity. While the space battle raged above, humanity's most ambitious operation began in complete silence. The Wraith Corps, Earth's elite special forces unit, approached the Cathera flagship in vessels that bent light itself around their hulls. Commander Grace Zhang felt the neural network connect her 12-person team into a single consciousness. Their bioengineered bodies, enhanced with cutting-edge nanotechnology, moved with inhuman precision in the zero-gravity environment. "Breach point identified," she thought through the quantum link. "Team 2, prepare for molecular phase shift." The Cathera never saw them coming. Their crystalline sensors, advanced as they were, couldn't detect what human science had made partially out of phase with normal spacetime. Grace's team passed through the outer hull like ghosts, their modified bodies protected from the vacuum of space by personal quantum fields. "We are aboard," she reported through the neural net, beginning Operation Shadowfall. Back on Earth, Alina Chen monitored the infiltration through the quantum network. The Wraith Corps represented humanity's ultimate achievement in human enhancement. Soldiers whose DNA had been rewritten to enable capabilities that bordered on supernatural. "Admiral Zixtal is still in the command center," Atlas reported, feeding tactical data directly into Grace's enhanced consciousness. "Be advised, internal defenses are active but blind to your quantum signature." The Wraith team moved through the massive ship's corridors like living shadows. Their enhanced bodies processed information at AI speeds, while their merged consciousness allowed them to coordinate without a single spoken word. Lieutenant Kai Rodriguez, Grace's second-in-command, detected the approaching Cathera security team before they rounded the corner. Through the neural link, he shared the tactical data instantly with his teammates. "Let them pass," Grace commanded silently. "We're ghosts, remember." The aliens marched past, oblivious to the human specters in their midst. The Wraith team's quantum phase technology, combined with their bioengineered capabilities, made them virtually undetectable to conventional sensors. In the flagship's command center, High Admiral Zixtal struggled to comprehend the battle unfolding around his fleet. How are they predicting every move? It's as if they're reading our tactical manuals. We are, Grace thought with satisfaction, her team now positioned strategically around the command center. We've been reading them for decades. Through the neural network, she received the go-ahead from Elena. Operation Shadowfall is green-lit. Show them what humanity's finest can do. The Wraith Corps materialized like avenging angels in the heart of the Cathera command center. Their bioengineered bodies moved faster than the crystalline aliens could process, while their neural-linked weapons found gaps in personal shields that shouldn't have existed. Security breach. A Cathera officer managed to cry out before Grace's quantum blade found its mark. The command center erupted into chaos, but it was a chaos that the Wraith Court had trained for extensively. Their enhanced bodies and merged consciousness turned the confined space into a killing ground. Admiral Zixtal found himself facing Grace, her quantum blade humming with barely contained energy. "Impossible," he whispered, all four eyes wide with disbelief. "Your species, you're not primitive at all." "No," Grace agreed, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's long preparation. "We just learned long ago that the best way to win a war is to let your enemy underestimate you." Through the neural network, she felt Maya Patel's Valkyrie squadron executing another impossible maneuver outside, while Commander Santos coordinated the fleet's final push. The Cathera Empire's greatest armada was being systematically dismantled by a species they had dismissed as barely space-capable. "Your options are simple, Admiral," Grace transmitted, knowing Elena was feeding her words through the ship's communication system to the entire Cathera fleet. "Surrender and face a new reality where humanity is recognized as an equal, or continue this fight and learn exactly how many other surprises we've been keeping in reserve." The command center fell silent as Zixtal faced the truth his empire had failed to see. They hadn't found a primitive civilization ripe for conquest. They'd awakened a sleeping giant that had spent half a century preparing for this exact moment. And now that giant was fully awake. High Admiral Zixtal, his crystalline form dulled with the weight of defeat, stood before the Earth Security Council in the deep underground chamber of Geneva Base. The neural-linked guards of the Wraith Corps flanked him, their enhanced bodies a constant reminder of how thoroughly his empire had misread humanity's capabilities. "You deceived us," he stated, mandibles clicking with barely contained emotion. "For decades, you presented an illusion of primitive technology while building this." His gesture encompassed the quantum-enhanced chamber around them. Dr. Elena Chen, now representing Earth's defense initiative before the combined leadership of humanity, allowed herself a small smile. "No, Admiral, we survived. There's a difference." Through the quantum network that now spanned the solar system, Commander Santos and Captain Patel monitored the proceedings from their respective posts. The remains of the Cathera fleet hung in Earth orbit, a testament to the price of underestimating humanity. "When we detected your first probe," Elena continued, "we faced a choice. We could announce our discovery to the world and risk panic, or we could prepare. We chose preparation." The holographic displays showed the full extent of humanity's hidden advances. Quantum weapon platforms disguised as satellites, city-sized underground manufacturing facilities, the massive shipyards beneath Earth's oceans, and the bioengineering programs that had created the Wraith Court. "Your civilization's achievements are unprecedented," Zixtal admitted. "No species has ever developed so many technological branches simultaneously. The neural integration alone should have taken centuries. That's because you don't understand humanity's greatest strength. Commander Grace Zhang spoke from her position by the door, her enhanced body a living example of what she described. We don't just adapt, we evolve. We take ideas from every field, every discipline, and combine them in ways no one else imagines. The Security Council members nodded in agreement. The past 50 years had seen humanity unite in secret, pooling resources and knowledge toward a single goal: survival in a universe they now knew was filled with potential threats. "We offer terms," Alina stated, activating a quantum display that materialized in the center of the chamber. "The Cathera Empire will recognize Earth and its colonies as a sovereign power. In return, we're willing to share some of our technological developments." Zixtal's crystalline features shifted in what the humans had learned was surprise. "Share. After we attempted to conquer your world." "Another aspect of humanity you fail to understand," Alina replied. "We prefer cooperation to conflict, when possible. Your empire's technology still has aspects we find interesting, and ours clearly has developments you never considered. We propose an exchange." Through the neural network, Alina felt the collective approval of humanity's leadership. The quantum AI network calculated a 93.7% probability of success for the proposed alliance. "And if we refuse?" Zixtal asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. Captain Maya Patel's thought response echoed through the network. "Then we demonstrate why hiding our true capabilities was actually an act of mercy. The choice is yours," Alina said aloud. "But consider this. What you've seen of our technology, our capabilities, our determination, it represents only what we developed while thinking we might face your empire alone. Imagine what humanity could achieve as an ally, rather than an enemy." The chamber fell silent as Zixtal processed the implications. Through the quantum network, humanity's leaders and defenders waited, their merged consciousness a testament to how far they'd come from the primitive civilization the Cathera thought they'd found. "The Cathera Empire," Zixtal began, then corrected himself. "I accept these terms, pending approval from the Imperial Council. But they will approve, because they must. You've shown us something we never expected to find. A young civilization that surpassed us while we weren't looking." Alina nodded, feeling the satisfaction ripple through the quantum network. "Then let this be remembered as the day that changed everything, not just for Earth, but for all spacefaring civilizations, the day humanity stepped out of the shadows and showed the galaxy who we really are." As the formal proceedings began, Alina reflected on the long journey that had brought them here. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged stronger. They had taken the threat of annihilation and turned it into an opportunity for advancement. The stars above were no longer just points of light. They were destinations, and humanity was finally ready to show the galaxy its true face. Not as conquerors, not as victims, but as equals who had earned their place among the stars through ingenuity, determination, and the uniquely human ability to turn adversity into advantage. The dawn of a new era had begun.